dun 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 dun. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is ReverseJosh, and today we're going to be talking about the Batman. I want to start off by saying that this will contain spoilers. They will be starting at this timestamp right here over my face. So if you don't want spoilers, just watch up to this point and then turn the video off. There's your warning. I will warn again when we start talking about the spoilers, but just wanted to preface and say there's spoilers starting at this point right here. I want to start off by saying that this movie is probably the best Batman movie that we've ever gotten. It's probably one of the best Batman stories that's ever been told on the big screen, and I think I need to see it again. I need another viewing of it to determine if it's better than The Dark Knight. I'm not sure that it's a better film than The Dark Knight, but it's definitely the best Batman story we've ever seen. Matt Reeves is an incredible director and fully understands what this character is and who he is, and what his themes and his story is about. The movie takes place in Batman's year 2. He's only been Batman for a couple years now. He's still learning. He's still young. He's just trying to figure things out still. He doesn't have it fully figured out. He's got the suit and some gadgets and stuff, but he doesn't totally know what his purpose is or what he's supposed to be really doing as Batman. And Robert Pattinson's performance in this movie is incredible. Bruce Wayne and Batman in this film are the same person. They're not separate entities. They're not separate people. Bruce is totally focused on Batman stuff. That's all he cares about. It's all he's focused on. He doesn't care about anything Bruce Wayne. He doesn't come out of the shadows. He doesn't go out and party and drink, do all that stuff. Bruce Wayne Playboy stuff. He is solely focused on being the Batman and being a detective and fighting crime and stopping criminals and everything like that. He's still very young, and this is clearly all that he wants to do, and it's all that he thinks he should be doing. Pattinson really plays off this stoic, recluse kind of Bruce Wayne really well. Something that I found really interesting and really unique about this movie that sets it apart from a lot of superhero films that have, like, since the dawn of the superhero films, is that he's in the suit for a good 85% of the movie. There's only a couple scenes where he's not Bruce, whether they're in the Batcave or he's out in Gotham as Bruce. I think that really shows that this is a Batman story, and it really encapsulates that idea that Batman isn't the mask, Bruce is. And that is a big theme in the movie, and I'll talk about that in a second when we get into kind of the spoiler territory. His performance is incredible, and I think Robert Pattinson is our definitive live-action Batman, and I can't wait to see where he goes as Bruce and the Batman in the future films. So I'm sure there are going to be sequels. There's already spin-off shows announced, which is going to be crazy. I'm really excited to see his character grow and his performance grow as the Batman. Zoë Kravitz is also really great in this movie. I thought she did a really good job as Catwoman. Her chemistry with Bruce is really great. They definitely are kind of like two sides of the same coin. They're both broken people who are searching for their purpose, trying to stop these criminals and everything. But their methods are very different. I think she had a Catwoman show announced just the other day, and so I'm excited to see that, because how the movie ends off with her character definitely opens it up for a spin-off show that I think will be really exciting to see. Paul Dano's The Riddler is incredible. He is terrifying and hilarious and just a sociopath. He's one of the best parts of the film, 100%. He really gives into the performance, and it's definitely up there with one of the best villains that we've had in a Batman movie, up there with obviously Heath Ledger's Joker, Danny DeVito's The Penguin. He's definitely like up there. I think his suit is really cool. I really like that the new mask and the jumpsuit and like the big coat and gloves and everything. I just thought that was really neat, and a really new take on the Riddler. A lot of the trailers and everything paint the Riddler as this sort of just generic serial killer kind of character, and he's not that. He still gives off those wacky, crazy, like weird vibes that like Jim Carrey's Riddler and all the other previous iterations of the Riddler that we've had. It just modernizes it in the sense that so that he can fit in this world. Probably the biggest standout performance in this movie is Colin Farrell's The Penguin. You cannot tell at all that this is Colin Farrell, and his performance as the Penguin is incredible. He's snarky, he's an asshole, he's a jerk, and it's perfect. It really is the Penguin. I think Colin Farrell does a really great job at portraying the Penguin as this underground crime lord, and just I am blown away still by the makeup and the prosthetics on his face and everything, because you cannot tell. You cannot tell that it's Colin Farrell under there. He's easily probably the best performance in this movie, and definitely a really standout star. And I'm really excited to see his Penguin show that's coming out. Jeffrey Wright did a great job as James Gordon. He's not the commissioner yet in this film. He's still just a detective or a lieutenant. But his relationship with Batman is great. Just like Zoë Kravitz, they kind of bounce off each other really well. They have great chemistry. They work together really well. I want to now talk about some of the more technical aspects of the film, like the cinematography and direction and writing and everything like that. Starting off with the cinematography, I think that this film is beautiful. Every shot is perfectly calculated. Every shot is perfectly lit to tell a story in the proper way that it needs to be told. This neo-noir style of filmmaking really sets the tone for this Batman universe, and it's the perfect way to tell a Batman story like this. Batman is a detective first and foremost, and making this film a detective noir film really gives you what you want out of a Batman movie. Every shot in this film is beautiful, and I would honestly, if I printed out any random shot in this movie, I would hang it up on the wall behind me. 100%. The lighting is incredible. Everything is perfectly lit for what it needs, for every shot that needs to be. They're done in this sort of muted tones, but there's also these really warm colors at the same time. And when there is color, it's very strong, but contrasted with these darker colors, these darker grays and blacks and everything, to give you this really like dark feeling in the film, which is how it should be for a Batman movie. I think that this movie really does a good job also in the direction standpoint of it feeling like a comic book. Again, this is another mild spoiler, but the movie starts off with some narration from Bruce. We get to know what Bruce is actually thinking because he's not there to explain it to anybody in the film. He's stoic. He doesn't talk to anybody. He doesn't want to reveal who he is, any information about who he is or what he does or anything like that. And so we get these little points of narration throughout the film that let us into his mind and what he's thinking and how he's feeling. And I think the film does a really great job at presenting that to us. It's not fourth wall breaking in any way. It's not. It doesn't take you out of the film. I think it really just fits well with this style, and it's something that I feel like been lacking in a lot of Batman films. Alright, I want to get into spoiler territory now, so if you haven't seen the movie, turn off the video now. This is your final warning for spoilers. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. There's going to be spoilers ahead, so yeah. We're going to talk about the plot, some of the character interactions and everything, some of my favorite scenes in the movie, and a whole bunch of stuff like that. The opening scene in this movie is incredible. The opening with the Riddler killing the mayor candidate, and combined with Bruce's narration and the Halloween introduction with all the criminals, it's just really well crafted and really well done. I really love the first moment that you see Batman in this film when he comes out of the shadows and beats up all those criminals. It's just brutal and ruthless, and you learn that he is not messing around with these people. He's instilling fear by beating the ever-loving shit out of them, and it works. The criminals in Gotham are afraid of the Batman. They still commit their crimes, but the second that signal goes in the sky, they are afraid. I think the opening scene is really well done. The "I'm vengeance" line really hits hard, especially towards the end of the film, and it's just a really, really great scene. The next scene I want to talk about is the Batmobile scene. The introduction of the Batmobile is awesome. It's easily the best scene in the whole movie. The whole car chase and the ending of that scene is just phenomenal. When the way they introduce the Batmobile in this film is just incredible, with the startup in the shadows, and you hear it starting up and you see the flame coming out, and then it just bolts out, and the whole car chase with the Penguin, with the oil tanker truck, and all the whole ramp and flying through the flames. A lot of this is in the trailers, but God, seeing it on the big screen was just so cool. I can't wait to see more stuff like that and see like a updated Batmobile and in the sequels and everything. And I just think that's gonna be like, it's easily the best scene in the movie. Another really great scene in the film is the interrogation scene with Batman and the Riddler. After Riddler has been captured, Batman goes to talk to him because Riddler wanted to sit down and speak with him. And you learn a lot in this scene that they are two sides of the same coin. They're both broken, orphaned individuals who wear masks to show their true self. A big theme that's really touched on in this movie especially in this scene in particular, is the contrast between Batman and the Riddler, and also the comparison between them. The concept of the mask in this movie, and especially in this scene, is really well done, and it really hits home this idea of like which persona is your real persona. When Riddler and Batman both put on the mask, they are their true selves. When they take them off, they're shy, they're awkward, they're weird. Bruce Wayne and Edward Nashton are the masks. Batman and the Riddler are who these people are, who these individuals are. They're both fighting for vengeance, and they're both maybe not going about it the right ways. And I think that's a thing that's kind of the whole story of this movie, is Batman coming to terms with how he's doing things is not exactly the right way, and what he really needs to be doing while fighting for his family's legacy. And Paul Dano's performance in this scene is just terrifying and really incredible, and it's easily one of the best scenes in the film for these performances. It's definitely the Riddler's standout scene in the film, much like the car chase is probably the Penguin's standout scene. And it's definitely a really solid scene for Robert Pattinson's Batman. It's definitely up there with the interrogation scene in The Dark Knight. They're not the most comparable. Yes, they are interrogations, but they both serve different purposes. I want to talk about a couple Easter eggs that I picked up on during the film. These are kind of more on the nose ones, but I just kind of want to talk about them because I thought they were cool. Towards the end of the film, Bruce pulls out a vial of this green liquid and injects it into his leg, and he just gets up and is rageful and just beats the shit out of this Riddler criminal, this Riddler follower. And a lot of people are saying it's like adrenaline or epinephrine, but it's definitely venom. It's definitely a nod to Bane's venom, and it's a potential Easter egg that could lead into something bigger. Maybe we'll see Bane in a sequel, or Bane in like a later show or spin-off or something, which I think would be really neat to see a more comic accurate Bane in this universe, kind of unlike the Tom Hardy version or kind of the Batman and Robin version where he was just a meathead. I think getting to see that Bruce kind of, or maybe Wayne Tech or something, created the Venom serum is just a really cool touch, and it's really cool that he has it just as an in case of emergency type of thing to get him back up if he's like down for the count. At the end of the film, Catwoman also mentions Bloodhaven. If you don't know, if you're not a fan of the comics, Nightwing's home that he goes to after he leaves Bruce and becomes his own hero. I'm excited for the Catwoman spinoff because we're going to see Bloodhaven and see her adventures in fighting crime over in Bloodhaven, and that may open up the opportunities to see a Nightwing or something show or series down the line, which I think is just going to be really cool. I also want to talk about that cameo at the end of the movie. This may be a hot take. I wasn't a fan of it. I was not a fan of the Joker cameo at the end of the film. Barry Keoghan, who you guys may know from Eternals, he plays Druig in Marvel's The Eternals. He plays the Joker in this film. It's just in one small scene. You don't really get to see even his face too much. It's kind of covered up in the darkness and in Arkham. But he has a little moment where he talks to the Riddler. And I know Matt Reeves has said that this scene isn't necessarily setting up anything for a sequel. It's just an Easter egg. But I feel if that was the case, then it didn't really need to be in the movie at all. I understand there's a deleted scene somewhere of Bruce actually talking to the Joker, and apparently he had dealt with Joker in the past and thrown him in Arkham as well. But I don't know. I think if we had the Batman scene involving the Joker, I think maybe that would be something interesting. I didn't think it was necessary. I think they could have cut it out after Riddler kind of starts crying or whatever in Arkham. I'm hoping that the Joker kind of is more focused in this Arkham Asylum series, this GCPD series that's coming out, and that he isn't a major player in any of the films moving forward. I kind of hope that was just set up for that show in some way instead of kind of being like the villain of the next movie or something like that, because he's already locked up. We don't need to see the Joker again. It's been done in every Batman iteration. Everybody's getting sick of the Joker, I feel like. I don't know, that's just me. This is my hot take, so yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that. Other than that, I think that wraps it up for this review of the Batman. Overall, I'm definitely giving it a 9.5 out of 10. This is easily my favorite Batman movie that we've ever gotten, and it's probably one of the best superhero movies that we've gotten in recent years. DC and Marvel have been on a pretty solid streak lately with films. We've got one of the best Spider-Man films ever. We got the best Batman film ever. We got Peacemaker, The Suicide Squad. I'm excited for the future of the DC films moving forward. It seems like DC is really allowing more creative vision from the directors, more directive freedom to really tell the stories the way they need to be told. Like I think Suicide Squad is a great example of this, and The Batman is a perfect example of allowing the directors to kind of do their own thing. The Batman is incredible. If you haven't seen it yet, go see it. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe down below, comment what your favorite scene is in the movie. If you're commenting stuff, please add spoiler tags if you can. Leave your reviews in the comments. I want to read them. I'll be replying to some stuff, sharing more in-depth thoughts, I guess, in the comments below. Stuff that I didn't cover in the video. If you want to see more superhero movie reviews, let me know what you want me to talk about in the comments, and I'll go through them. This is the first one, so let me know how I did doing a review. This is my first time doing this in a while, but I'm excited to keep doing it moving forward. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Batman.